Chapter 15.
Snakes and toads! Snakes and toads! My sister had just been taken by a giant toad! I ran after the toad, leaping over pebbles and dodging blades of grass. I'd always been good at catching toads, but a giant toad is something totally different. I ran harder and harder, ignoring the scream in my legs. At the crest of the hill, the earth fell away. At the bottom of a steep slope was a swampy river, snaking through a wooded area. Did they go that way? Was it already too late? The water was covered with a greenish-brown film. The smell was moldy and putrid. The step my foot made a suction-y pop. Giant mosquitoes swooped low over the water. Their noises were like giant black swords thirsty for blood. I made my way along the water's edge, listening for the noises of Annabelle. "Bells!" I shouted. "Annabelle! Annabella!" I tripped over a log and face first. It wasn't a log. Snakes and toads. Toads and snakes! A giant snake reared its head. It flicked out its forked tongue and tickled beneath my chin. I was frozen. "Move, Jack," I thought to myself. The serpent's jaws snapped shut, and I dove out of the way at the last second. "Think, Jack, your axe." I continued to wave my axe around, and then it slipped out of my hands. The snake hissed and circled me. I looked all around for my weapon, something, anything I could use for a weapon. And there was a pebble. I could just reach it. I raised it above my head and whoosh! Flung the rock at the snake's head. It smacked it right on the side, and down it went. After getting my axe, I kept walking.
Gribbit, gribbit.
I walked toward the sound. Could it be? Soon I heard a soft whimpering. I pulled apart some reeds, and not more than 20 feet away, there was Annabelle, sitting alone on a lily pad. "Bells!" Annabelle looked up. Her eyes were red and puffy. But when she saw me, her whole face lit up with relief.
Taco Jack, you found me!
"Bells!" As she stood up on her lily pad, her legs were going, and kerplunk! She fell into the water. The toad hopped in after her, and with a moment later popped back up with Annabelle wrapped in her tongue.
That tickles. I thought she would eat me, but now she thinks I'm her pet.
"Bells," I said, "see if you can get away. Can you paddle your arms in the water and make the lily pad move?" Annabelle scrunched her nose at the mucky water, even though she was already drenched in it. But she dug her arms in and tried her best to paddle forward. Before she got halfway to shore, the toad lashed out her tongue and pulled her back.
Stop grabbing me with your tongue. It's horribly rude, you know.
"Gribbit!" The toad shrank back with shame.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're just lonely, aren't you? Haven't you had any other toad friends?
The toad looked sad.
You poor sack.
Annabelle talked to the toad like she would anyone. Then she turned to me.
Jack, I have a feeling it will be hard to escape.
"Well, she can't watch you forever, can she? We'll just have to wait."
Gribbit, gribbit.
Yes, you have a lovely home, but I can't live here. I'll starve.
The toad turned her attention to a dragonfly hovering by. And while the toad was distracted, Jack decided to make his move. Annabelle was right on the edge of the lily pad, and she was preparing to jump, but I knew she wasn't a strong swimmer. "You can do it, Bells! Just jump as far as you can, and I'll help you!" "Bells, jump now!" She plunged into the water and came up gasping for air. I waded in farther and pulled her up after me. "Stand up, Bells!"
Gribbit.
The toad had given up her chase and was swimming towards us now. We sloshed through the mucky water. "We're not big enough to outrun her. We have to hide."
Gribbit.
Jack, hide!
Annabelle commanded. As we walked away from the stream, the land got more solid and started to slope upward. I kept my sling and axe at the ready, and suddenly we walked on. We're trying to get up to the castle, and then Annabelle screamed. I whipped around expecting something frightful. Annabelle was just stood in shock. Another bucketful splashed at her feet. It was like giant rain. Within 30 seconds, the ground beneath us was a muddy river, and we began to slide back down the hill.
Jack, I can't hold on.
I grabbed Annabelle's arm and pulled her up. "Let's head for that fallen tree," I I said. We can cover beneath its branches. Can you make it? Annabelle nodded. When we got beneath the branch, I heard,
Jack, I found something.
I turned back toward Annabelle, and there, in the leafless branches, was a nest, woven tightly with grass.
It's empty.
As the rain fell harder, we decided to take shelter into the nest. We looked up and saw the moon.
Do you think that's the same moon we see in our world?
Annabelle asked. It looks the same to me, I said.
I hope Papa could see it. He always loved the moon.
He loved the land, I said.
He loved us and Mama too.
He still loves us, Bells, I said. We're going to find him.